Hey, what's up? It's me, aka Faceless. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the video. Hopefully you can enjoy, and if you do, please hit up the subscribe and the like. And if you are interested, I stream on Twitch as well, many days of the week, so check that out. It's going to be linked below. Let's get right into it.
Alright, we have a game of Faceless Void I played the other day, where both drafts were pretty interesting and encountered each other in a myriad of different ways that I am looking forward to bringing up and discussing and going over. Well, discussing with myself, I guess, and going over it. I also want to make a note of why I believe Void was good this game. I think a lot of pubs, a big part of it can be the draft. Whether you're playing a hero that's powerful or weak, and what you do with that pick. I think this game, I have a Void, and I think time dilation is extremely powerful against their draft. It directly counters these two cores by quite a large degree, and makes everyone's game on their team hard to play. And I am more than just a chrono for most of the game, Void has difficulties doing much without his chronosphere a lot of the time, except for, even in the late game. And, this time dilation being a spell that's useful this game is very important. And, yeah. I believe Void should be picked not just when chrono is a good spell, but even more so sometimes when time dilation is a good spell. Because it can just have such an impact on your laning stage, or on your game, excuse me. There's not a huge amount to see from the laning stage. It's just very standard stuff. Back and forth, fighting over last hits. The one big note I'll make is the level 2 time dilation. Time dilation is a spell that's very powerful in this lane, and if they get a little overzealous and a little over aggressive, you Shikuchi poorly or dive poorly, it's going to contribute a lot to a kill. Whereas Bash wouldn't be as powerful. You're going to see throughout the lane, Phoenix might be a little overzealous, will be a little overzealous. Like here, time dilation, slowed, run down, killed with the Oracle. Oracle does die, but it's a trade I'm happy to take. I'm the pose one getting kills, and my hero counters theirs very powerfully. And Weaver's not going to have the net worth to really do much this game. The most he's going to be able to contribute is pretty much going to be like an Agnum Scepter, which, it's whatever. Not a big deal, I'm saying the trade, support for support, because I'm the one getting the kill. The big thing is I'm not dying and I'm, getting okay farm. Sorry about this, the last hits bar, this whole bar is kind of bugged. So it's kind of difficult for it to be accurate, so sorry about that. You'll be able to see my assists here though, at the very least. Again, standard laning stuff. Phoenix dove into us and he got punished with a time dilation and a Oracle Q. Me and Oracle, our lane isn't very powerful at killing these heroes as they have dive and Shikuchi. But if they get overzealous and move too far up, we can easily turn the tides and get a kill going. And here we have an extended fight. They go again on my boy. We get a kill. Murano misused arrow here a little bit, knowing that he had ulti. But we held chrono and were able to get him after he came out of his ulti. Unfortunately, there was no damage really output, so this was technically not a good chrono. Kuka shows up, misses the combo on him, but even then he wouldn't have died, I think. Time dilation comes out, they're running away. Coddle is also rotated. We did know Kuka was coming, and the Coddle, because the Coddle called that out and ran up. So we're gonna get the Weaver here now. That's still a kill for us, and the lane continues on. Also, I'm going Mom first this game instead of Treads, which I would normally like to do in most matchups, specifically because I'm against a Weaver Phoenix, and Treads isn't really gonna help me manage the lane well, whereas the Mom will help me sustain the lane, as well as just do some more DPS output in the Chronosphere than Treads would. It's just nice to have, When you're playing a hero like Void, who has his Time Walk and his Chronosphere, you can be a bit more greedy on the movement speed aspect of things, because people can't run away from you while you're hitting, so just giga attack speed and damage output can be very powerful. I even skip Brand Boots and go for a Levels of Haste. And now we're just making some jungle rotations, moving through the lane. I can also play very safely in an aggressive part of the map, basically what I'm saying. Like, generally, you know, if you're playing pose 1, the entire enemy team's missing in the situation, a Kunkka's missing, you're going to be a little concerned. Maybe, you know, leave, or I could go bottom, etc. and so forth. But instead, I feel comfortable staying up here and defending this tower alone because of the fact that I have Time Walk and their CC is very bad at killing me. You know, using Time Walk, you can dodge the X combo. Magnus is not 6 yet, and then Pounce is their only other CC. So as long as I have my Time Walk up, I'm not playing in an absurdly bad spot, I'm going to be relatively safe to play however I want. I come down here in bottom, trying to assist my team because I have Chrono up a little, and looking for Chrono. There's not really a great opportunity, and even this Kunkka wasn't a Chrono I'm very happy about. I was facing a lot of audio clutter from Rana, who was screaming for me to Chrono for a long time, but I should not have listened to him, and I should have held it for longer. Because, I mean, there's a thing, right? Just because a spell is up doesn't mean there's a good chance to use it. And there wasn't one. Like, all I did is I chronoed the Kunkka and didn't kill him. He ran away and reset. You know, luckily they don't keep fighting us to defend this tower and they back up and reset. But the fact that I used Chrono for nothing is rough. I ended up muting the Mirana too for most of the game to be able to better focus, because I played with this guy a bit and he has a history of being a little obnoxious in the microphone. I'm only mentioning all this not because I want to focus on the Mirana, but because I want to focus on the idea that, you know, you need to be able to focus, and sometimes people will get in the way of that, whether maliciously or not, and it can just distract from your ability to play the game. And so you need to do it. You need to take the steps necessary. You know, you don't have to be a dick to them or anything about like that, but you know, hit up the mute button and keep playing your match if you need to. And that's just an important point I wanted to make for all those people that are struggling with dealing with obnoxious people. Just mute. It's that simple. You don't have to say a word back to them. And then onto this play where I jumped up at the high ground with my Time Walk. I had the Oracle behind me, so I didn't feel very worried. They don't really have great DPS to kill me with an Oracle right next to me. Even if, like, the only exception would be, like, maybe if their entire team was up there. The circling of the map was to ask my Coddle to play elsewhere, since he has bots, and not come to the one part of the map I was on. That's another thing, you know? Just, like, calmly asking people to do things that will help your game. You know? This bottom part of the map, this is where I should be playing right now. This is my safe space, the place where I can get net worth. And my Coddle might not understand that, and I need to communicate that to him, just calmly and concisely. Here I get ganked by the Kunkka. I messed up my timing of my Q a little bit because I was being silly. I wanted to get to my Oracle and have him use spell on me, instead of just timing the dodge properly. Which ended up, I think, Oracle died because I did that. But it was like the one or two time I missed it the entire game. I just hadn't practiced the evasion in a while, so I was unused to dodging the combo, and I was a little frazzled. But you'll see me dodge the X combo plenty of times the rest of this game. You know, the fact that I can dodge that I have that ability to, makes it so I can play in very aggressive positions and farm very aggressively. You know, like a lot of carries wouldn't be able to sit under the tier 2 tower at like, you know, 13, 14 minutes and be absolutely sure that the enemy team can't do anything to them. Activating my mom was a little bold, but I didn't mind too much. Here Mon and I are setting up for a kill on Weaver. We end up getting him. And then getting out the used boat, you know, it's easy stuff. Again, just farming. Here's the thing too, like, when you're playing carry, I have the ability to play in an aggressive position, and so I am. Some people might be playing back here or back here, you know, being defensive, farming defensively, because they feel like they can't fight them. But I know that I can't die to them, and if they make rotations to chase me, they have to bring many heroes, or they will themselves die. So I can indirectly pressure the map and reduce the area they can farm by playing here. Plus, I don't farm Ancients very well, so it's not a huge point for me going up there. So this will help my net worth. Plus, Coddle is going to be farming everything up here. So it's fine. Tide can get the tri-camp area, get some nice farm going. See, I don't have Chrono up, and a lot of the times that would make you not want to come to a fight, but I know that I have my Diffusal coming to me, and that I have Time Dilation. This Time Dilation spell really owns. Show up to the fight. The Diffusal, just because I wanted to be able to, you know, stick on people a little better without having my Chrono up, As well as I like Mana Burn against Slark because he has some mana issues. And you can only run down like Magnus and Kunkka and everything, as he said. I don't need like an early SNY or something like that because I have an Oracle, I have a Caudle, I have decent sustain and heals. You know, I'm not going to be worried about dying to random spells or anything if I get caught. I mean, getting caught is pretty difficult in and of itself. And just more static farm. I hit up the track end since I'm just in the area already. Though in retrospect, I think I should have gone... I think this was fine. It's fine because they end up making a move in the area, so I'm already here. Get a big Chrono. We take care of the guy we can kill first and easily, the Magnus, and then we get the Phoenix, and then we get the Slark. Pretty simple stuff, we just go through and get the kills. I have Chrono, so we find a fight with it. They kind of walked into us, so it wasn't really us finding a fight, but that is what you want to do. Every time you have a Chrono and Ravage up, whatever. Whenever you have your big skills up, you want to find a fight. There's no reason to be passive, unless you just like actually can't fight. There's 2 dead, so I don't mind face checking this, and you can see right there I dodged the X combo. There's just no way you can touch me. They come in with an RP, dodge another X combo. And you'll see like my hero just has like free reign at this stage of the game as far as like being aggressive. They can't touch me. End up going for SNY now. It's like fine against the Magnus and the Phoenix. Some okay item. Weaver goes ahead and dies here. He has to use an early ult because of my time dilation, and then he has no way to, you know, backtrack all the damage we do to him. And we're just running into them. They have no Weaver, he's dead. We have Chronosphere and everything. We're feeling powerful. We just kill everyone. Our spells are up, and then we fight. That's something that's always that simple. Your spells are up, you fight. Assuming you have any strength whatsoever. Assuming you're the winning team. Assuming you're powerful. Oftentimes, the mistake that you know, lower rated players will make is they'll feel strong and they'll take that as an excuse to farm. They'll say, hey, they can't fight us, so I can just farm. But what are you farming for? What are you waiting for, you know? Why win a game in 40 minutes when you can win it in 20? This game isn't a 20-minute game, let me tell you. It lasted much longer than that. But also another benefit of farming is, you know, they have a Kunkka and a Slark with Empower, so they farm pretty quickly. We have a Caudle, but that's it. I farm slowly relative to them. So anytime we can battle them, make them fight, anytime we can get net worth off of these battles and stop them from hitting creeps is like very beneficial for us. And just playing in an aggressive spot, farming in an aggressive spot. You'll notice I've been in my tri-camp once this game. Just because, like, I just have this ability to play aggressively, even without Chrono being up. Because they can't kill me. And if they don't bring enough heroes to actually make a real attempt, then we'll turn and kill them. Weaver finishing his Ags. When Weaver finishes his Ags here, it marks a turning point in the game, where I have to Chrono him. I have to go on him every fight. Or else he'll just save anybody I go on. I don't know he has Ags yet, but he'll reveal it soon. I also queue up a Scotty here, which I was thinking about it and I wasn't sure what to buy. I just wanted to get like tanky and be able to run down people a little bit better. But in retrospect, was wrong. And I also ended up purchasing a different item. Even going so far as to sell my ultimate orb. Right there, Weaver's time lapse was on cooldown from using it on himself, so he could time lapse Kunkka, and we got a free kill. I did make an error, if you remember. I didn't center my Chrono. Like I was, you know, you want to do something like this where you edge it when you have like a melee teammate or someone who has small range spells that you want to cast, that you want to like allow them to cast their spells or attack. But I didn't have any such thing on my team. But I was against the Magnus, and I was thinking about it at the time, but I didn't compensate well for it. Part of the issue was I didn't want to get Mirana in it, and I was worried about that, but I could have angled it better. And then also, I could have also hit from a better spot. You'll see I hit from the edge, which allows this Magnus to make this play he made where he RPs me and then
can skewer me away. He does end up making the issue of skewering me into Chrono. You know, instead of like over here or over here away from Kunkka, so it doesn't end up mattering that much. But yeah, that was an error on my part. I think Diffusal was fine. I think SNY was also fine. No, just get in the trees, find them. How much they can do. We just get several heroes. They were playing far up aggressively when their heroes, their Kunkka was dead, which is like half their team fight / damage and everything. And so we were just able to get, you know, a free nice little initiation on them, run into them and kill them. That's like another thing, you know, like we were just playing aggressively on their side of the map. And they made a mistake and we capitalized off of it. We forced a BKB ulti TP from that guy. Subsequently, we know he doesn't have BKB, we know he doesn't have ulti, so we go for the Roshan. It's a little slow because I'm the one who really does damage to it. Magnus shows up, and because of that, you know, we just get a free kill on him. Which secures that this rush is definitely going to work fine. Not really much they can do about it at this point. No Magnus, no BKB Slark. And we have Chrono and Ravage, so they're very afraid. First thing we do after getting Chrono, after getting Aegis, is we run into their side of the map and we look for them. I saw Slark was running down and I was Moonlight Shadowed, so I thought I could possibly head him off, and I do end up finding him. Just end up running him down here. It's a bit of a delayed go for, but we eventually pick him off. Yeah, simply just running down their heroes. Finding as many kills as we can. Use their egg as well. Those heroes are dead. We go for the push. The big reason Scotty's bad here is because it doesn't actually enable me to hit as well as you think. And also, before I get into that though, this was some cycle stuff. This made this game harder than it was before. Coddle just like blinks into their base and baits our entire team into fighting up here, which is terrible for us. And we all die and have a bad fight. I could have lived here if I chronoed the Kunkka instead of my chrono and TP'd, but he ran out very quickly of the area where I was intending to chrono, and I messed up and I died too. That was my first death. But yeah, I was a little frazzled by what the Coddle had just done though, so I wasn't super focused, but that's something you just have to play around. People will do dumb, stupid things, and you have to be ready to make the right decision even regardless of the fact. You know, keeping your mentality stable and proper is an important part of winning the game no matter what happens. After that fight though, it did help me realize that, you know, this Scotty was not going to cut it. Because it doesn't help me do output damage as much as, you know, I was thinking it might. Like, yeah, I can run down people a little better. But what about this Torrent Storm? What about this, this Kunkka's Tidal Wave? You know, what about Yules? What about Fire Spirits, etc. and so forth? You know, there's all these spells and ways to kite me. Maybe somebody will even buy a Halberd at some point. There's all these spells and ways to kite me that I have to play around. And so I need a BKB for that. Not having one doesn't cut it. So I end up going back for one. Also, another big tool that I ended up getting is this reverse time walk shard. It's very powerful. It will let me move in and out of the fights and, you know, just outposition the Slark, which is very important. And, you know, get into the backline to get this Weaver in my Chrono because of the increased cast range. And just like, you know, just get information, dodge spells, it's very useful. At one part, notably, you'll see me time walk in one direction, the Slark pounces at me, and I reverse time walk back, he misses a pounce, and he wastes his time running around the fight. He's not hitting anything. Every second you're not outputting damage, every second you're not hitting something, as a carry in a fight, is an issue. And so you want to figure out how the ways to you're outputting damage and you're hitting things the most, possibly. The most possible. Scotty doesn't help me do that, but BKB would. See there, I was able to get out, in and out. I'm moving around the fights constantly. Dodging the boat and then jumping right back. This was an issue here. Does he have an axe? He does, but he didn't have a second pounce. That was fine then. I was worried about getting double pounced and then dying. The chrono itself, though, was not very useful. The Slark ends up chasing me around for a while, pretty good for me. Take the gem. That fight was kind of a wreck from us, and let's go back and look at why. So first off, we need to find this Weaver. He has Ags, he must die. At the same time, our Oracle's getting gone on, but he's surviving for a little while. I don't have my BKB though. I can't stand there and do damage to this hero. So he lives, gets his time lapse off. Torrent Storm and Egg is going off. Who knows if one of these is going to hit me. And the Egg break is going to go off. So I can't really output damage during all this time. That's what I mean about you need to be hitting things constantly. During this entire period that I use my Chronosphere in, okay, I am not hitting things. Like, I had to dodge that boat, right? But now, I'm not hitting anything, and it's because I don't have a BKB. Like, this Chrono is not good. All it does is pause the fight and help me relocate myself. Our Coddle even gets found, which is like half of our DPS, and dies. Ravage has been used, you know. We used our CC in such a way that we weren't able to output much, if any, DPS with it. And that was a big issue. A large part of that being because I don't have a BKB, and there's too many spells I have to avoid and play around. So that's why BKB is essential for me in this fight, in this game. Just go in and try to help him out a little bit, but I should have been farming. I wasted some time there. Network doesn't work. You'll see my last hits is fairly low compared to everybody else. My net worth is keeping up fairly well though. I'm in like top 3, I believe. Because what I lack in last hits, I'm making up for in contribution to kills. Been getting quite a bit of those throughout this game, as you can possibly tell. Just pushing the waves out. I have my BKB now. I sold my ultimate orb to get it. I'm not going back for a Scotty. A Scotty's bad. It just doesn't help me do anything, as I said before. The next thing I thought is, what else will help me hit things more? You know, what enables my DPS the most? And I figured that would be a Chronosphere. I already have this talent, 120 attack speed during Chronosphere. So it really clears up the need for Void to get like an attack speed item, which you normally might want to at this point in the game. Some attack speed or DPS item you might feel the need to buy, but now that you have this talent, it makes things a lot easier. Like, you essentially, isn't 120 like a Moon Shard basically? Yeah, you pretty much have a Moon Shard, and your DPS is really good. So that's something to play around. You know, another Chrono also will help the fact that I'm against a Depth Shroud Slark and a Weaver with Time Lapse, you know. Having 2 Chronospheres will enable me to hit things and do damage beyond that aspect. Because they have quite a few tanky / elusive heroes. So the extra lockdown will do wonders for us. Here, you know, I'm smoked. No, I was smoked. I'm smoked, I go up, I don't see anybody. And so I think that the next place I want to check is, I don't necessarily think there's somebody up here, but it will give me a high ground vision to see who I might have missed. Turns out there's a Magnus up here. I can provide vision of him. He gets time lapse because he was going to die, but he dies anyways. Now that I'm looking back at this, right here, I wonder if that was a chrono on those heroes. I think it was fine. Getting rid of the Magnus is fine. It's a free kill. It keeps things simple. I check out the high ground situation because I have my back time walk, my VKB, and dodge another torrent combo. We're pretty much just all playing around Rosh. I'm looking for a Weaver now. He must die. I see him, but he Shikuchis, and I'm worried about missing with Chrono, so I just go back. I'm hiding in trees again, waiting for Weaver to show. I find him and kill off the Weaver. He buys back. Egg is getting off. And you can see, like, you can hardly follow this fight. At this point, it's kind of just chaos. There's Kunkka spells going all over the place. We use Ravage. We pretty much just need to wait out these spells, reset, and chill. And you'll see here, he goes to pounce on me. I time lapse back. And then continuously reposition myself into a good spot. At this point, I need to not commit on a hero too hard. I don't have BKB, and they have, you know, the stuns, they have pounces, they have Weaver time lapse again, so I don't want to commit to anything. You know, it's going to be unrealistic to expect to burst a hero, so we need to take a slow fight and wait for our chance. I cannot overcommit. So I'm playing the edges of the fights, you know, taking hits where I can. This guy RPs us, but it's okay because Slark is on the far side, and if he's not here, you know, the DPS isn't really there very much. You know, Oracle might die, but I'm fine. I jump around, I use another spell. This was a big mistake here. I used my mom. I was intending to, you know, hopefully bash his Phoenix really quickly, but that was pretty risky of me. Because, you know, I can't time lapse because I'm silenced. Or not time lapse, jump. At that point, you know, they've used all their CC, their major CC. They don't have RP, they don't have Egg, or they don't have Phoenix, he's dead. So we're able to run them back, turn around. We've also had some buybacks on the Tide and the Oracle. So we run them down and get the kills we can. At that point, that's a dieback on Magnus. And we have an opportunity to pressure objectives. Caudle ends up TPing top. I vent a little confusion, it appears, by drawing circles. I was saying before even TP though, I believe, like, to push, or maybe just after. But we ended up going for Rosh instead. Another Aegis is no big deal. You know, I'll take it on my hero this time. Last time I would have not minded giving it to the Caudle, but this time I won it because we're in the late game, and I'm the hero sieging and playing the high ground. And against a Magnus, it can be pretty scary. You know, you don't want to get thrown under your tower, pulled under his tower when you're pushing and dragged into his base, and then who knows what else. Because when you do that, it makes your team have to run up and can strain your positioning and make things hard. Yeah, we're walking up looking for kills. I'm praying my Caudle doesn't just jump into their base again. So they have the Weaver up, and I don't see him. I want to jump and be aggressive, but if Weaver's not showing, there's just no point. I'm not going to get a kill. I'm going to waste time. I might as well just keep hitting the base. Which is why, despite the lack of heroes, I'm playing fairly passively. Weaver's just hiding in fog, waiting with his Shikuchi and time lapse. We get to tier 3, we run back. I ask my team, I want to fake back, because we still have all of our major spells, you know? We don't have Moonlight Shadow, but that doesn't matter. We do have Spirit Form, it's still an active effect. And I want to be aggressive. You know, we still have our Chronosphere, we still have our Ravage. This guy even has a Refresher coming on the way, I think. So I want to fight them, you know? We got forced back off the base, but that's not the end. Here we see these two heroes here. I don't see a Weaver, so I don't want a Chrono. You know, I try to hit him. I ended up getting CC'd a bit. They used Egg, and they used RP. But the thing is, during all that, I'm taking all the spells and I'm taking all the DPS for my team, and I have an Aegis, so it doesn't matter. You know, they end up killing me here. The big concern is that we misused our Ravage here, I think. One, like, completely whiffs and doesn't do much, and nobody's really doing outputting DPS. And then the next one is, you know, same thing. Like, I'm getting stunned, my BKB's on cooldown now. So our CCs were just misused. We should have just waited and let me die and respawn with Aegis. And then done whatever else. So we lose our tide, we get the Phoenix, he buys back. I still have Chrono, but this was a bad Chronosphere because of that. I still haven't found Weaver, but I got a little anxious and I lost my cool. And I went for a Chrono on the Slark because I thought we could burst him with me and Kala and Rana. That being said, I don't think he would have died to us. He's very beefy. But yeah, I misused Chrono there, and now we have to run. We're taking a look to see if we can get any quick picks, but we don't really see anything worthwhile. So we back off, and we reset and we wait. Now it's just a waiting game for our next Chronosphere and Ravage combos. See, we lost the fight with Aegis, and we're gonna win fights without Aegis. You know, it just doesn't like super impact our fights that much. It just changes a bit the way we take them. Here again, I didn't really want to, but to Chrono that guy, but I kind of just took a shot at it. It was a play that I was like, that seemed like very risky, but not risky to me. And I was willing to take a shot, because we're going to lose our Rex no matter what, I think. Though me having a Chrono would have been useful here. So I think that was just like completely a mistake to use my Chrono as that. Like, obviously I didn't get anything out of it. I used the cooldown. So that was not good. You want to use your spells when you actually can do something off of them. It's like the same theory of being in a lane, you know, with your allies. You know, imagine you have a CM laning with you, and you're, you know, a carry player, and you're playing some carry, some Slark or Void, for example. You know, since they're in this game. You know, ideally, there's times to use your spells on CM that are better than others. Your first spell, your Crystal Nova. You can use it when your carries are able to help you, or when you're securing a last hit / doing damage, or if you like need it for a trade. But the most ideal time is to use it when, you know, your carry can use the slow effect it has to help you hit things, and also like to secure any creeps there are. You know, so there's like a difference between like randomly using it by yourself on the side. It's like useful, you're helping to trade because you need to, versus using it at a most optimal time. Like right there with Chronosphere, I could use it, yeah, I do some damage, but it doesn't really do much there. I know that's not a great analogy. I'm just trying to say there are usefulness. There are times when certain spells and choices are more useful than others, obviously, and it's important to try to keep as clear of a head as possible, and to not panic and let things get away from you. I also didn't super mind doing that though for another reason. I don't play a ton of Void, and I was unsure about how much DPS I could do at this stage of the game with these items against that hero. So I just wanted to, that was also a nice little way to check, a nice little damage check you could say. With little to no risk to myself, I was able to take a look at my DPS against the Slark. And that helps a lot later on, because it enables me to know that I can kill him with Mirana as long as there are no allies that he has nearby during one Chronosphere and a good arrow. Now we're just playing together looking for a fight. You know, we have double Chronosphere soon, we have double Ravage, you know, we're feeling pretty good. But I have to find Weaver still, that hasn't changed. You know, that's the peril of playing against this game. They have a Depth Shroud and they have Weaver Time Lapse. And so if these two heroes play off each other, it's very difficult for my Chronosphere to have that much value. In this fight though, for example, Slark was playing very far up here and gets CC'd by the Mirana, and Weaver is playing way over here. So we're able to go on the Weaver here. I get RP'd Edge RP'd again. They have a Chronosphere, or not a Chronosphere. They have a Aeon Disc on Weaver, which I didn't know about. So then he survives a bit. Plus, I mean, he would survive regardless because of the RP. You know, he gets his time lapse off, and then we get another Chronosphere with the Refresher. At this point, you know, they're very grouped up, as you can see. This is a very cool Chrono, and I make a choice here, which is very important. My Tidehunter still has one of his Ravages, and there's an egg going off in the background. I could either hit something, maybe kill something, and then egg goes off, stuns me, fight gets reset, maybe some DPS issues happen, or I could do this. This Magnus has no RP, he cannot RP me off of this, stop me from hitting this egg. We finish off the egg, we use our Ravage, we finish some stuns up, kill the Weaver. Here comes the Depth Shroud finally, which he couldn't use because he was also chronoed. Weaver and Slark should never be chronoed in this game together. That is absolutely terrible because both of their skills are so useful at playing against the Chronosphere. And it makes my game really difficult, honestly, if they play off of each other properly. But luckily for me, we were able to find a chance where they were split. Mirana Yules him in the background so he can be there for the first chrono. And then the second chrono, he accidentally leapt into. They use the Depth Shroud on Kunkka and Slark to escape. And we go to push in the waves. You know, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We want a team fight, and we push. That's a common theme you'll see. You want to fight, you pressure. You know, pressuring is either playing on their side of the map and farming their camps out, so when they respawn, there's nothing for them to farm or touch, even if you have to back away after they respawn, if you're not strong enough to fight temporarily. Or pressuring is also taking their buildings, and that's the path we're going for here. Slark runs into us here. You know, he's looking to create some shenanigans. He knows we don't have any big ultimate, so it's kind of hard to kill him. We have a gem. We see him. Kunkka's also here. They end up running away. We could chase them, but it's going to be a pretty difficult chase and kill. So we end up just going for the push together with our wave we have and going for the racks. Slark has ult now. Feeling pretty safe. And we got our racks. At this point, we don't have any ultimates, and it's kind of hard to kill them. But I kind of want to get more. It ends up backfiring quite a bit, and we end up losing a few heroes. But not anybody that's super important. Oracle gets caught out, which creates some issues for us. I think, honestly, all of the Oracle getting caught out is what makes things a lot more difficult. I think if Oracle stayed in proper formation and wasn't caught, and instead stayed behind like me here, we could have hit this tier 3 more. But Oracle gets caught and pushed up. You know, because of that, we run in and try to help him. And things just get messy. At this point, we just have to run back. Wait for our refreshers, for our skills, spells. I see the Weaver down here, and I call for my Coddle to come kill him. I make a big mistake, though, is I thought it was going to be the Coddle that would help me kill him. But he had the Aeon Disc that I forgot about, so it required Mirana to come. Luckily, he came of his own volition, but the planning of that play from me was flawed, and so it was technically a misplay. At this point, I'm thinking I wanted to do damage in Chrono, but after that Aeon Disc second proc, I understood better that instead of doing a lot of damage, I needed to break through this Aeon Disc to secure the Weaver kill. So I switched to a Nullifier. And now Weaver's dead, we use one Chrono. I see a Slark top, I have my Refresher up, and I know that me and him can kill him if there's no allies on his team. Look, Weaver's gone. So if there's a Sunray, that guy maybe dies. But Phoenix can, or not Phoenix, Mirana can also like blink Yules him to cancel it. If he's, you know, quick enough. I have my BKB, so, you know, this guy's spells won't be super bad, but Ghost Ship could harm us. But at the same time, there's no Weaver. And I'm using a Chrono to get the Slark low, which means afterwards he's going to have to ultimate and put him in a dangerous spot. And my teammates are all like relatively running towards us. You know, they're all running in our general direction. So, and I won't die, and neither will Mirana die, even if this doesn't go bad and we don't get the kill. So it's one of those things that's like risky, but it's only risky in a way that we might waste a spell and have to wait a bit. It's not risky in the way that it's going to lose us the game, by any means. Off of that, we get another Aegis. This one has Ags, and I take the Ags on my hero, which is nice. You know, Time Walk Ags is pretty cool for your hero. I take the Aegis too, and we go for our push. I think this is the last push of the game. I want to go bottom to push this wave in so we can go for the bottom racks, but I get X'd and Caudle goes instead. Caudle was probably the person to do it anyways because he does it much faster than me and I can stay playing with the team. Rana finds the Magnus. I dodge Tidal Wave and then we get a kill. At this point, Caudle's pushed the wave in and we can go for this tower pressure. At this point, it's pretty straightforward. You know, Magnus is dead. We're just hitting towers, hitting buildings, and I'm looking for this Weaver still. I have Chrono in 2 seconds, and I Chronosphere him. Here's the thing, though, that makes this game so difficult for me. Even if I get the Weaver, Slark had Depth Shroud, but he didn't place it properly. He wasn't ready. He could have Death Shroud the Weaver there, and the Weaver would survive, and then get his spells off, and things would be fine. And that's a Chrono wasted. That also brings me to an interesting point. Because Depth Shroud is so powerful this game, and is like such a counter to my Chronosphere, I even wouldn't have minded seeing a refresher on the Slark, like instead of this Nullifier he was going for. I think that could have been very powerful. Because he just essentially would completely counter Chrono twice. And do a lot to nullify mine. I would have to Chrono 2 heroes at opposite ends of the Chronosphere until I had the AoE Chronosphere talent to actually, you know, be able to do consistent damage with it. And that's what made this game very scary to play. Luckily for me, you know, my opponent made some errors there and wasn't as useful with his Depth Shroud as it could have been. The Void versus Slark matchup is very interesting for several reasons. First of all, your time dilation, you know, it's very annoying for Slark if his Q has already been used. You know, it stops his pounces from being used. It might even halt some cooldowns on his ulti if he's already used it, etc. and so forth. That makes things annoying and difficult for him. It takes him out of the fight for a bit, because Pounce and Depth Shroud and Dark Pact are a big part of how he plays fights. At the same time, though, Pounce itself is a very good spell against Void. You know, it's great CC for him, especially when you have the Ags and you have 2 charges. It's great CC to kill the Void. And Depth Shroud, if you're not chronoed, is extremely powerful. You know, if you're against one or the other of these heroes, you know, you just have to get the Slark in it, and it's pretty easy because he's a melee hero, right? But there's also Weaver to worry about. So if they play off of each other properly, my game is very difficult. Alternatively, though, on the bright side, you know, it's not impossible to get multi-hero chronos as the team fights wear on, and we also have Ravage to play around it itself as well. So it's not impossible to get CC off regardless. And eventually we would get, you know, a Hex, hopefully, on Caudle, maybe one on Mirana. He has a Yule, so he can blink Yule somebody to interrupt their help of each other. But yeah, overall it should be, it's very difficult to get chronos off realistically in this game. Once we get to late game, you know, eventually. I still don't regret the pick though, because I still think, you know, my hero, as you can see, it did pretty well before we got to this late game part, you know, where things would get, you know, quote, difficult, end quote. I still think I would pick it no matter what, because, and that's the thing too, like, you can buy save for Chrono, you can have heroes that are pretty useful against it, but Time Dilation is just such an obnoxious spell, and that's why I think picking Void because of Time Dilation and Chronosphere is important. I don't think you want to pick it off of just one or the other. When both are very valuable and useful, I think that is when you have a very good Void game on your hands. And that's what I felt like this was. This was a very good Void game. I made my mistakes along the way, for sure. There were some bad Chronospheres, and I believe my farm could have been a bit better, as well as my decision making in some fights that we went over. And most likely some things I'm not even very cognizant about, because I'm not a perfect player, and I don't even know all the ways that I'm making mistakes all the time. But looking at it, I did see some new things and some things I wasn't aware of. And I was able to, and it's not even just like the things, even if you're reaffirming what you know to be true or false, if you're spending time to look at it in a post-game replay analysis like this, it like cements it inside of you. Like, I knew some of the Chronospheres in this game were bad, but the idea of not using Chronosphere, of not releasing the skill or making the move unless it's actually good, not because of desperation or because someone's screaming at you to do something. Don't make moves because of that. Do it because
it's the right play to make. And coming back and watching this replay, it helps cement that idea in my head. You know, and the game is over. The match has ended. I was able to look back to this, learn a lot of good stuff, and I hope you did too. It was a fun match to go back over, and I felt like playing with the shard, playing with my time dilation, playing with the chrono, I felt like a lot of the choices I made were correct and were good to make, and that this was a really fun game to play. I would recommend trying Void out if you see an opportunity for a good time dilation, a good chronosphere, etc. and so forth. And don't be afraid to experiment with builds. Early refresher seems fun. Don't forget to buy BKB when you need to hit heroes, when you need to be useful. I even had a game yesterday. I was playing Lifestealer, and I was against a Night Stalker and a Void Spirit, and I built Armlet fucking BKB because I have a Tinker on my team, and I have these two squishy supports, and we rely on people being in there and running Vision and causing chaos. Vision for my Tinker spells and Chaos to make it so it's difficult for these heroes to be initiated on and do damage. I need to be in front. I want to be soaking damage. I want to be hitting things constantly. And with only Rage, when they have the Void Spirit who's rushing an Agnum Scepters, and they have this Night Stalker natural hero, with only Rage it's not enough. And so I built second item BKB on Lifestealer. Seems silly, but it was actually very important. And it led to several 1-fights. It led us to being able to contest Roshan. It led us to being able to contest towers. It was very important. It won us a lot of battles. Don't be afraid to use your brain. Don't be afraid to do things that aren't normal. And above all, always learn. See you next time.